Hello, sports fans, sports bettors, and YouTube Nation. John here with Ricket Picks. And look, I got Ricketts here. I'm going to give him some treats right now. He's really just wanting these treats really bad. They're his favorite, so but he'll stick around a little bit for this video because he really likes these treats. Anyways, we had a big win on these Sounders today. So we got smacked around a little bit in football, but the Seattle Sounders, they won the MLS Cup. Giants, Rams, and Canucks could not get it done. The Packers did cover, as Ricketts is done eating his treats and he's out now. He's like, thanks, I gotta go. But carrying on, if you took my leans, Detroit lost. Matt Stafford was a late scratch this morning, and that kind of changed the whole dynamic of that entire football game for Detroit. But the Dolphins, they got it done with an outright win. They didn't even need the 10 points they were getting. And the Ravens got it done as they just absolutely smacked the Bengals. And looking back, we should have went heavy on those two, but we did not. So we'll just carry on. On to a new week. Monday Night Football. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be a heated game and a classic rivalry game. You got one of the league's best defenses and Richard Sherman, who is, oh, by the way, an ex-Seahawk, and he will certainly have plenty to say as he is typically not shy for words. Seattle comes into this game at 7-2 and a perfect 4-0 on the road. Their two losses have come at home, which is very uncharacteristic of a Seahawks football team. Seattle has a 2-game winning streak, winning last week, beating the Buccaneers in overtime. How many teams have the Buccaneers just took to the wire this year? They're about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes from having a great season. The Seahawks are averaging 27.56 points per game, 263.44 passing yards, and 131.89 rushing yards per game. They also average 6.05 yards per play. The Seahawks defense has been their weak point this year, which is historically not the case. They're usually, in recent seasons, they've had a great defense. And this year, they haven't paid some guys. They've left. Their secondary is weaker. Their linebackers are weaker. And it's really showed on the field. They're giving up 25.56 points per game, 278.33 passing yards. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat, so I'm trying to get through this. They're giving up 102 rushing yards per game on the ground. It's just it's not a characteristically normal Seattle defense as of late to give up almost 300 yards passing per game. Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson is having an MVP-type season. Wilson has 2,505 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and only one interception this year, which is also uncharacteristic, but he is playing lights out. He is focused and locked in. Him and Lockett they've grown a rapport, and DK Metcalf he drops the ball at times, but Wilson likes him as a target. Wilson's offensive line, he still has to run for his life almost every play, which doesn't help anything. He's been sacked 22 times this season, and you tie in the fact that San Francisco has 30 sacks already this season. Wilson, he's going to be under a lot of duress in this game. Bosa is going to be in the backfield hunting him down on a pretty regular basis. Josh Gordon, the newest Seahawks wide receiver, is questionable for the game. However, it would be a huge benefit to have him on the field with Metcalf and Lockett, because that would be a trio that would be tough to cover all three of them. The 49ers come into this game undefeated. They're 8-0. They're 3-0 at home. Their last game was a win over the Arizona Cardinals, a game that they had covered until a poor defensive choice late in the game allowed a really long touchdown and brought the game to within 3. The 49ers still won the game, but they should have covered the spread. Pardon me as I get a drink of water. The 49ers are averaging 29.38 points per game offensively, 219.25 passing yards, and 171.13 rushing yards. So they have a pretty strong ground attack, but they also have 3 very good running backs. So probably a direct correlation. On offense, they're averaging 5.76 yards per play. But the real story this year has not been the 49ers offense. It has been their defense. They have the best secondary in the NFL. I mean, that's shown right there. 219 passing yards. You have NFL quarterbacks coming in, and they can only get, I think they're giving up 139 yards per game is what their defense is giving up. So you got Russell Wilson coming in, who's pretty good, and you got the best secondary. I mean, something's going to have to give in this game. It's either going to be Russell Wilson or the 49ers secondary. Keep in mind, Richard Sherman would probably love to pick off a Russell Wilson pass and have a lot to say about it if he does. San Francisco's defense is only allowing 12.75 points per game this year, which is astronomically low. They have played the Redskins, but they have played a lot of high-powered offenses that have just not been able to get anything going against them. Teams are only averaging 4.49 yards per play against the 49ers, but they are getting 102.88 rushing yards. So look for the rushing attack for the Seahawks to play a factor in this game. It's going to have to for the Seahawks to be successful. I see a lot of banter on the internet going, are people really saying the Seahawks need to run the ball against the 49ers? They got one of the best passing offenses in the NFL. Well, when you're going up against the best secondary, sometimes that doesn't matter. If you don't have the threat of the run, the pass isn't going to be there. So they will need to get a running game open. Niners quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown for 1,806 yards this season, 13 touchdowns, but he has 7 interceptions. Garoppolo's not a pass-oriented quarterback. I really don't know how to say that, but he's okay at passing, but he will make mistakes if you can confuse him and put him under a little bit of pressure. He will throw a pick. The 49ers' newest weapon on offense is Emmanuel Sanders. He has made an immediate impact on that team. A big hole for the 49ers in this game will be the absence of tight end George Kittle. He is listed as doubtful, but if you hear all the reports and listen to all the people talk, he is not going to play. The Seahawks have notoriously been weak against tight ends, especially elite ones. They give up a lot of fantasy points to tight ends. They give up a lot of first downs and just catches in general to tight ends, as they don't have really a solid lockdown running back that can cover them. And when they bring one of their defensive backs up, it leaves a hole in their secondary. So there's going to be some key factors. With George Kittle being gone, it's going to hurt their run game a little bit, the 49ers, and it's going to hurt them in the passing game, as he's usually a pretty good safety valve for Garoppolo. But there's a lot of questions in this game, and here they are. Can Jimmy Garoppolo take care of the football if he's forced into more passing situations? Can the Seahawks establish a run game to open up the passing game? Bottom line is a good passing offense versus a quarterback, in Russell Wilson against one of the best defenses. So that's the main key to this whole thing is, who's going to give, if anyone. I mean, this is a good matchup, and it's going to be a great game to watch. I think there's some holes in the 49ers offense playing against the Seahawks defense, which isn't great. They rank 22nd in the NFL, and they've given up a lot of points, but the 49ers, they don't score a lot of offensive points. They score some defensive points, and they rely on their defense to shut things down. I think with the trio of receivers that are probable for the Seahawks in this game, the Seahawks are going to cover. I think the 49ers are going to win, but I think the Seahawks are going to cover what is now a 6.5-point spread. So your official Ricketts Monday Night Football paw pick of the play is the Seahawks plus 6.5 points on a half-unit play. Undoubtedly, both these teams are going to be up for this game. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere down in Frisco. It's going to be a great game to watch, and I look forward to it. Monday Night Football. Let's go Hawks. Hopefully they can get the job done, as a lot of Seahawks fans and 49er fans don't get along. But that's what makes football great, these rivalry games like this. After the game, everybody's friends. It's all good. So if you guys like the NFL content, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you like the Seahawks play, if you like the 49ers, you're probably going to hit that thumbs down button. That's fine too. It's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hit the subscribe button if you want to get my daily fantasy, or not daily fantasy, but daily betting advice. And thank you guys for watching. have a great day. And most importantly, good luck with your bets.